Hey, basketball fans, welcome back to Tips and Streams, your go-to spot for the hottest NBA regular season predictions. I'm Kokan, and I'm here to break down today's matchups and give you the edge you need to make the best bets. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. Your support means the world to us. Remember, our channel has no sponsors and relies solely on the love and support of viewers like you. Even a small donation by pressing the thanks button under the video helps us keep bringing you top-notch content every day. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and fellow basketball enthusiasts. And we love hearing from you, so drop a comment below and let us know what you want to see in our forecasts. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you the content you crave. Let's jump right into today's NBA predictions. We've got some exciting games lined up, so stay tuned and let's get that winning streak going.
Today, we have predictions for 5 NBA games. The first prediction for today is for a game between the Orlando Magic and Boston Celtics. The Orlando Magic are rolling into Boston to square off against the Celtics, and let's be real, this matchup screams two teams on completely different trajectories right now. On one hand, the Magic are battling through a storm of injuries and trying to stay afloat. On the other, the Celtics are looking to get their mojo back after a couple of hiccups. It's a classic tale of survival versus dominance. Let's dive into Orlando's side first. Are you a Magic fan this season? Not for the faint of heart. Every time you think they've turned a corner, they get slammed by the injury bug. Paolo Banchero's return and his jaw-dropping 34-point performance were a much-needed breath of fresh air. This kid's got it, a future superstar, no doubt. But the laundry list of absences is a killer. Franz Wagner's out, Jalen Suggs is still banged up, and even Goga the Tads was sidelined recently. They're scrapping, sure, but that 122-93 beatdown from Milwaukee? Ouch! That's the kind of L that shakes your confidence. Still, let's not forget the Magic pulled off a sneaky win against Boston last month. It wasn't pretty, but it was gritty. They locked down the Celtics on the perimeter. Boston shot a miserable 24% from deep and forced 18 turnovers. Oh, and they were automatic at the stripe, going a perfect 21-for-21. That's how you grind out a win when the odds are stacked against you. But pulling off that kind of magic, pun intended, in Boston? Different story. The Celtics are hungry for revenge, and you can bet they've had this one circled on the calendar. Now let's talk Celtics. This team has championship DNA, no doubt. But lately, they've been playing a little sloppy. Dropping 2 of their last 3, including a head-scratcher against Toronto, isn't what you expect from a squad this talented. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, the heart and soul of this team, were quiet in that loss, just 26 combined points. Yikes. You know Tatum's coming into this one with a chip on his shoulder after missing the last matchup with Orlando. When Boston's locked in, their defense is suffocating. Throw in Kristaps Porzingis, Drew Holiday, and Derek White, and you've got a lineup that can clamp down and still light it up offensively. The issue? Their bench. 11 points from the second unit in their last game against the Magic? Not good enough. If the bench shows up tonight, this could get ugly in a hurry. For the Magic to have a puncher's chance, it all starts with Banchero. He's got to go nuclear, and even then, he'll need help. They've got to control the boards, disrupt Boston's shooters, and keep it a grinded-out game. But let's be real, Orlando's depth just isn't there right now, and that's a tall order against a team like Boston, especially on their home floor. Here's the deal. This feels like the perfect bounce-back game for the Celtics. They've been a little wobbly, but this squad is way too talented to stay in a funk. I'm expecting Tatum and Brown to come out firing and set the tone early. Boston's defense and depth are going to overwhelm the short-handed Magic. When the dust settles, I see Boston pulling away in the second half and covering the 11-point spread. Orlando's grit might keep them in it early, but they just don't have the firepower to hang for 48 minutes. I'm calling it. Boston winning and covering. Celtics fans, this one's for you. Magic fans, keep the faith, better days are coming.
Welcome to BetUS, Sportsbook and Casino, your ultimate hub for secure and thrilling sports betting and casino gaming. BetUS is one of the oldest and most reliable online sportsbooks in the U.S., serving millions of clients all over the globe each month. BetUS, trusted for over 30 years, offers huge welcome bonuses, countless betting options, and many deposit and payout methods. Depositing funds is a breeze and safe, with a minimum deposit of just $10. Payouts are fast and hassle-free, beginning at only $50. Choose from various payout options like MoneyGram, couriered check, cryptocurrency, or bank wire. Signing up is quick and easy. For signing up, you can use the link in the description and enjoy a generous 125% welcome bonus of up to $3,000. By signing up using the link in the description, you'll also support us as we earn a small commission from your registration at BetUS. Thank you for supporting us. Join now and start winning.
The second prediction for today is for a game between the Minnesota Timberwolves and New York Knicks. This matchup between the Knicks and Timberwolves has all the ingredients for a fiery rematch. The offseason trade that sent Karl-Anthony Towns to New York and brought Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo to Minnesota added plenty of spice to this rivalry. It's been a tale of two very different outcomes since that deal, with the Knicks thriving and the Wolves scrambling to find consistency. Now, under the bright lights of Madison Square Garden, these two teams are set to square off again, and there's a lot on the line. Minnesota is coming off a tough loss to the Warriors, a game that felt like a microcosm of their season, flashes of promise, but not enough to put it all together. Anthony Edwards, who's supposed to be their guy in crunch time, hasn't quite lived up to the billing lately. He had 17 points on 7 of 16 shooting in that loss, which isn't going to cut it if the Wolves want to hang with a team like the Knicks. Rudy Gobert? Let's just say his stat line of 3 points and 4 boards left a lot to be desired. The Wolves' defensive effort, or lack thereof, was another glaring issue, and their inability to clean up on the boards really hurt them. They got out-rebounded by 20 last time they faced the Knicks, which is just unacceptable for a team that relies on size. The Knicks, meanwhile, are riding high after a gritty overtime win over the Sixers. They've been clicking on all cylinders, and Towns has been the catalyst. The last time these teams met, he absolutely torched his old squad, dropping 32 points and hauling in 20 rebounds. He was hitting everything, even going 5 for 5 from deep. Watching him dominate in Minnesota earlier this season made it clear he had a point to prove, and now he gets a chance to do it again in front of the MSG faithful. If he plays, it's hard not to favor the Knicks in this one. They've got depth, they're shooting well, and they're controlling games with their defense and rebounding. That said, this could still be a revenge game for the Wolves. Losing by 26 points at home to the Knicks back in December had to sting, and you know Edwards and the rest of the squad haven't forgotten about it. Even if Towns is questionable, the Wolves have the pieces to make this competitive. Edwards needs to be aggressive from the jump and set the tone offensively. Gobert and the rest of the front court have to step up and make their presence felt on the glass. The Wolves can't afford another lopsided rebounding margin, and they've got to make the most of their trips to the free throw line, which has been a struggle all season. The Knicks have the edge here because of their consistency, but I've got a gut feeling the Wolves can cover the spread. They've had some success on the road recently, and this feels like one of those games where pride kicks in. I don't fully trust either team, but I believe Minnesota has the motivation to keep this close and maybe even steal a win. I'm taking the Timberwolves to cover the 5-point spread in what should be a hard-fought, physical game. This one's going to come down to who wants it more. Before we move on, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing might seem like a small action, but it actually makes a big impact for us. Plus, it's completely free for you. Have you clicked that subscribe button? Awesome, thank you so much for your support. Now let's dive back into the video. The third prediction for today is for a game between the Denver Nuggets and Miami Heat. The Heat and Nuggets are squaring off, and this one's got a lot riding on it for both teams. Miami, sitting at 20-19, just wrapped up a tough road loss to the Lakers, 117-108. Denver's not in much better shape, coming off a 128-108 thumping at the hands of the Rockets. These two squads need a bounce-back game, but the big question here is whether Nikola Jokic will hit the court. That's the domino that could tip this whole matchup. Denver's season has been a bit of a roller coaster. They're 24-16, which looks solid on paper, but when Jokic sits, they're a completely different team. He's been listed as questionable with that elbow injury, and if he's out, things could get dicey for the Nuggets. Jokic is the heart and soul of their squad. He's putting up MVP caliber numbers again this season, 30.6 points, 13.2 boards, and just a hair under 10 dimes per game. Oh, and let's not forget, he's hitting 47% of his threes, which is a career high. When Jokic is on the floor, the offense hums like a well-oiled machine. When he's not, let's just say the wheels can fall off pretty quickly. Jamal Murray's been a bit of an enigma this season. One night he's dropping 45 like it's nothing, and the next he's struggling to find his shot. Aaron Gordon could make a return, but how effective he'll be is a question mark. And let's not ignore the bench, which has been, to put it kindly, underwhelming. If Jokic is out, Denver's depth, or lack thereof, could be exposed big time. On the other side, Miami's got their own set of issues. The whole Jimmy Butler saga has been a dark cloud over this team. He's suspended indefinitely after that trade request mess, and honestly, his absence has left Miami scrambling. Tyler Herro's been stepping up, though, putting up 24.3 points a night and doing everything he can to keep this team afloat. Problem is, Herro can't do it all by himself. Bam Adebayo? He's had flashes, but he's not the force he used to be. And let's face it, when guys like Duncan Robinson and Nikola Jovic are being asked to carry more of the load, you know things aren't clicking. Defensively, the Heat are tough. They're in the league's top 10 in defensive rating, but their offense has been middle of the pack. They're just not putting enough pressure on teams, and it's showing in the standings. Losing to both the Clippers and Lakers on this West Coast swing hasn't helped morale, and now they're back home, where they've been hit or miss. One night they're solid, the next they're getting blown out by 30. It's hard to know what version of the Heat will show up. This game comes down to Jokic. If he's in, Denver should have the upper hand. They've got the firepower and the rebounding to overwhelm Miami. But if he's out, that's where things get tricky. Without the Joker, Denver's offense stutters, and Miami's grinded-out style could wear them down. I wouldn't lay points with the Heat in most situations. They're just too unpredictable. But if Jokic and Aaron Gordon are both out, Miami might just squeak this one out at home. If you're betting, keep your eyes glued to that injury report. Jokic's availability changes everything. With him, Denver is a juggernaut. Without him, they're vulnerable. Either way, this one's shaping up to be a gritty, hard-fought battle. Let's see who wants it more. The fourth prediction for today is for a game between the Memphis Grizzlies and San Antonio Spurs. Let's talk about this rematch between the Spurs and Grizzlies. It's got all the makings of a classic bounce-back game. Memphis walked into San Antonio a few nights ago and straight up handled business, running away with a 129-115 win. It wasn't just a win, it was a statement. The Grizzlies were locked in, with 6 players hitting double figures, including Ja Morant and Desmond Bane dropping 21 each, and Sandy Aldama coming off the bench with a monster 20, and 10 double-double. When a team clicks like that, it's hard to slow them down. The Grizzlies didn't just outscore San Antonio, they dominated the little things that win games. They shot 42% from deep, moved the rock beautifully for 28 assists, and kept turnovers to a bare minimum. Those are the kind of numbers that scream discipline and chemistry. Add to that their edge on the glass, out-rebounding the Spurs by 8, and you can see why Memphis has been so hard to stop. They're not just flashy, they're efficient and physical, a lethal combination. Now, San Antonio didn't roll over completely. They had their moments, especially in the first half, but they just couldn't sustain it. Victor Wembanyama had a tough night shooting, just 5, of 19 from the floor, but he still managed to grab a double-double with 13 points and 12 boards. That kind of grit, even on an off night, is exactly what makes him such an exciting prospect. Then there's rookie Stephon Castle, who absolutely lit it up with 26 points. This kid's on a roll, coming off another big game against the Lakers, and if he keeps playing like this, he might force himself into a starting role sooner than later. What I like about this Spurs team, despite their struggles, is that they've got heart. They're young, they're scrappy, and they're starting to figure things out. Wembanyama is a game changer, no doubt, but the leadership of Chris Paul has been just as important. His presence brings a level of stability that this team desperately needed, and you can already see it paying off in how they approach games. They're not there yet, but the foundation is being laid. Looking at this matchup, the Spurs have a chance to flip the script. They've been solid at creating turnovers, and with Memphis having one of the highest foul rates in the league, San Antonio could do some damage at the free throw line if they stay aggressive. Offensive rebounds are another area they need to exploit. The Spurs average over 11 a game, and those second chance opportunities could be the difference maker if they're more efficient this time around. That said, Memphis isn't going to make it easy. They've been one of the best cover teams in the league, and their record as road favorites speaks for itself. This is a team that knows how to take care of business, and with their balanced attack and defensive intensity, they're not likely to let up. Still, I've got a feeling the Spurs won't go down without a fight. Nobody wants to lose 2 in a row on their home court, especially to the same squad. San Antonio has the talent and the motivation to bounce back. I'm banking on a stronger defensive effort, better execution on the boards, and Wembanyama finding his rhythm. Castle's energy off the bench could be a spark, and with Paul steering the ship, I see them keeping this one close. I'm rolling with the Spurs to cover the +4 spread. They're young, hungry, and due for some revenge. Memphis is the better team right now, no question, but this game feels like it's going to be a lot tighter than the last one. The fifth prediction for today is for a game between the Oklahoma City Thunder and Dallas Mavericks. The Thunder head into Dallas riding high as one of the most dangerous squads in the league right now. Mark Daigneault deserves a ton of credit. This team has found its groove and keeps proving why they're at the top of the Western Conference standings. Every game feels like a showcase of just how much talent and resilience they bring to the table. When these two teams squared off last month, OKC completely controlled the game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was unstoppable, dropping 39 points while shooting an absurd 65% from the field. Jalen Williams chipped in, and the Thunder's role players like Luguentz Dort and Isaiah Hartenstein made sure Dallas never got comfortable. They didn't even shoot lights out overall, just 45.5% from the floor, but their hustle on the boards and defensive pressure more than made up for it. Those 17 offensive rebounds and 14 steals? That's championship-level grit. Meanwhile, Dallas is in a tough spot. Luka has been sidelined since Christmas, and Kyrie's availability feels like a day-to-day soap opera. Derek Lively's ankle issue just adds to their front court problems. Even when they've managed to stay competitive, their rebounding struggles have been glaring. This is a team that gives up way too many second-chance points, and against a team like OKC, that's a recipe for disaster. The Mavs do have some bright spots. PJ Washington can fill it up, as he showed in their earlier win against OKC with 27 points and 17 boards. But relying on him and guys like Jaden Hardy off the bench to carry the load against a fully locked-in Thunder team, that's a big ask. Dallas has dropped 8 of their last 10, and their 1-9 against the spread record in that stretch speaks volumes about how much they're struggling. For OKC, the key will be staying focused despite the back-to-back schedule. They just had a slugfest with Cleveland, so there might be some tired legs. But let's be real, this team knows how to play small ball better than anyone. Even without Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren, they've shown they can dictate the pace and force mismatches all over the floor. Gilgeous-Alexander continues to play like a top 5 guy in the league, and if he gets rolling, Dallas is going to have a long night. Dallas has the rest advantage, sure, but let's not kid ourselves. The Thunder are the team to beat here. Even on tired legs, they've been a cash machine for bettors all season with that ridiculous 28-10-3 against the spread record. This is one of those situations where you just keep riding the hot hand. Until they give me a reason to stop, I'm backing OKC all day. This feels like another blowout win for the Thunder, especially if Dallas is once again without Kyrie and Luka.